took me quite a few listens, but this main part seems to change time signature every single bar, which is crazy. Hey everyone, my name is Christoph Jakob. I'm a music composer for video games, and today let's check out one of the new tracks from Splatoon 3's mode Salmon Run. This track is apparently called Chaos Carnival, so let's go! As expected, there's this bit crushed or in some other way distorted timpani sample again, which I'd say is the most characteristic instrument used in Salmon Run tracks. Beside the cello, of course. The intro starts in a regular 4/4 time signature and I'd say it doesn't sound threatening at all, especially compared to the other Salmon Run tracks from Splatoon 2. But it sounds more like you're about to go into a carnival. Starts perfectly. Oh. Such a weird time signature. Or multiple. Wow. Wow. This part is great. This is really good. I've listened to this tune a few times in-game before, but listening to it standalone now, this is way more chaotic than I thought it was. That's exactly the kind of silly and goofy vibes that you would expect from this in-game band called Omega 3, which by the way is the name for the fatty acid that can be found in algae and fish, for example. This main part is just 3 notes. In my opinion, hits the perfect balance between silly and serious. Not the kind of seriousness of Fishing Frenzy from Splatoon 2, for example, which was more like a... I'd say this sounds like anxiety manifested in musical form. The tune builds up, literally, in so many different ways. Most of the time we're sitting on the same very simplistic riff or motif or whatever you call it when a cello is doing it. It took me quite a few listens, but this main part seems to change time signature every single bar, which is crazy. Every bar we get one more E note. This is E. That's one of the weirdest, but at the same time one of the most creative and coolest thing I've heard in video game music in a long time. Let's try to follow along. Ooh, this is nice. Most of the time we're sitting on the same repetitive riff, slowly getting longer and longer and longer. Later on we get a rhythmically identical secondary melody on top of this basic riff. Which leads to some really interesting and very dissonant sounds. It sounds so dissonant, but that's honestly perfect for a tune that's supposed to evoke this sense of anxiety. I'm honestly surprised that a track with seemingly little variation can have so much variation. To be honest, as chaotic as it is, it's actually quite structured. And I also love the way how it changes time signature. It doesn't just randomly switch between random time signatures. No, It starts, if we exclude the intro, it starts on a 10-8 time signature, and every bar adds another number to the first value. So each bar gets just oh so slightly longer. I think it goes all the way up to like 25-8 time signature or something like that, which is not easy to follow along. And later on we get a third variation on top. This was clearly not written to be played by one person on one guitar. This is fantastic. Wow.
To be honest, as chaotic as it is, it's actually quite structured.
I'm imagining this from my point of view right now. Imagine getting the task to write anxiety-inducing or just music that makes you feel like you have to hurry, and you deliver this. I'm honestly not quite sure if this middle part here is the most chaotic one, or if it's meant to be some sort of breather, even though thinking about it, I'm pretty sure something like that doesn't exist in this tune. It's hard to tell and probably also depends on you as a person. Hurry up! Wow. Wow. I also really like how they decided to end this tune. They just decided to repeat the initial riff that you heard at the very beginning. This time it's not the time signature that's getting longer and longer, but this time it's the pitch that gets higher and higher, as well as the tempo, which gets faster and faster until it's turning into this almost unperceivable. I'm personally a huge fan of Fishing Frenzy from Splatoon 2, and I have to admit I didn't really like this tune when I heard it for the first time, and also not second or third time. But it really grew on me. Its best way to describe it is it's very musically interesting. I don't know how anyone is supposed to top Splatoon music regarding creativity, to be honest. It's regardless of whether you like this kind of music or you don't. It's undeniable that there is such a huge egg container filled with creativity in this music. Roll the credits. Thank you so much for watching. I've actually written my own little Splatoon-inspired soundtrack this summer, so if you'd like to check that out, you can click here. And in case you'd like to hear some of the music that I've written for video games, you can click here. See you next time.